Hello and welcome to the car show video. We're going to go to the show that I do bi-weekly throughout the summer at a restaurant. It's promotion for the restaurant, but the people who own the restaurant are definitely into old cars. You have a lot of that up here in Wisconsin. So I'm going to take you to the show, show you what the setup looks like, show you what I play. Okay, here's our car show. It's a little early. Got a Porsche. That's the owner's car. Over here we got a nice race car. Nice old Thunderbird. Some pretty stuff, some new stuff. My mother actually turned me onto this website called Wednesday Night Classics, where you can advertise your little local community car show in southeastern Wisconsin. They put it up last week and we've already got cars we've never seen before. Now if you turn around, I'm way over there and you can hear me fine. Some people are asking if 215s were enough. Yeah, plenty. People need to hear themselves talk. But yeah, I'm over there and this whole area will be filled with cars here in probably about a half hour or so. And a quick look at some of the cars here today. You can see I'm jamming some 70s rock stuff. So Cuda at the end, 66 Mustang, 80s Formula right here. We got the old Dodge stuff. That's the expensive stuff over here. Super B and a Swinger over there. So that gives you an idea of what my car show looks like. I do every other weekend throughout the summer. This type of show is a community supported car show. It's not for profit. It's more for promotions for the restaurant itself who hosts it. We have a lot of those around here. We have a McDonald's that's a 50s themed McDonald's, and they have cruise nights where everybody brings their old cars, and they have rules here. You have to bring cars that are 20 years old or older. You can't bring in your tuner or your brand new custom car. The show that I do, you can bring anything to. As long as it's cool and interesting, you can bring it. It doesn't matter if it's a souped up Honda Civic or a Model A. And everything in between is welcome at this show. Now, can you make a lot of dough with these shows? No, you can't. Not at these type of car shows. Maybe there are some big car shows that you pay to get into that a DJ might be able to make some serious cash at, but the type of shows I'm doing, nah. They're free to get in, and they're free to participate, and it's a promotion for the restaurant is what it is. And the owner of the restaurant has a love for cars. He has a couple of old Porsches, he has a couple of old Minis, which is rare to have here in the States, but he's got them and he loves them. He's into the European import stuff. So he's doing it part for love, part for promotion for his restaurant, and I think it's really cool. I make like $200 at this gig every time I do it, and it's 3 hours, and I don't normally work like that, but seeing how it's free to the community and it's a real nice thing to do for the community, I feel like I could do it at that discounted rate. Now, what am I doing? Besides playing music, I'm making a lot of announcements. I am making some announcements promoting the restaurant, but most of the time I'm making announcements about people registering their cars. I'm doing trivia questions and giving away some prizes. We have like car trivia we do. Give away some, swag like t-shirts from some of the liquor vendors, or, maybe even sometimes some hats, some little trinket. They do have a People's Choice Award at this show, which is kind of nice. Everyone who attends the show, who comes and sees the cars, can vote for their favorite car, and at the end of the show we give them a $30 gift certificate to the restaurant and a cool little trophy that says they won the People's Choice. And if you've restored a car or have a special car and you want a trophy for your car, that's a big deal, especially the People's Choice. That's really nice that the people who went there actually thought your car was the coolest of all of them. I almost wish they had a second and third prize too, because I think some of these get cut awful close and some people get left out. I should talk to them about that. So what do you play for car shows? It really depends on what kind of car show you do. If you're doing a car show that's strictly cars from the 1950s, maybe you want to play only music from the 1950s, or maybe even some early 60s stuff. Now when I do this show, I mix it up from the 50s all the way through the 80s, and I'll tell you why. Because I think most of the time when these people come in and they play all this Buddy Holly 50s stuff for these car shows, are thinking to themselves, they want to take people back as much as they can to the 1950s. They can see something that was made in the 50s and they can hear it, and it's almost like a time machine for a couple of hours, and that's cool. But I'm thinking of a different time machine myself. I was a little tiny guy in Los Angeles in the 1970s. And my brother, he's 9 years older than I am, and he had the coolest, most badass Corvette yellow 55 Chevy you ever seen in your life. He bought it when he was 15, and he paid $1,400 for it, and it was bone stock. He put a 327 in it, blew it up with Corvette fuel-injected heads, or no, 57 fuel-injected heads is what it was. It sat way high off the ground. It had, you know, the traction bars on it, the Kragers, and it was loud, and you could smell the leaded gas coming out of the pipes. It was fast as hell. He beat everything in town back then. And his friends, they all had Cudas and Chevelles and Mustangs. It was this time, this period of time where but you'll never see it again. There was all this dirt cheap horsepower out there for teenagers to buy and hot rod themselves dirt cheap. Gas was getting expensive and people were starting to look at four-cylinder cars. So some of these cool muscle cars from just a few years ago, going through maybe, I don't know, from 1950, the 50s I guess, all the way through the early 70s, they were low-priced vehicles because people didn't want them. They wanted the new economical vehicles. So these kids had these beautiful, kick-ass, badass rides. And what was the music of the day for people like my brother and his friends? Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, Ted Nugent, Heart, early Heart. Some of you European guys think that Heart came around in the mid-'80s with Alone. Not true. Heart had been around for a long time. They had a complete, healthy catalog in the 1970s that kicks anything that Heart did in the ass in the 80s. By far. Cool rock and roll music. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out. It's good stuff. They got a tune called Magic Man that's great. Barracuda, Straight On. Have a look at these tracks. What else? Eric Clapton. Any of that cool rock and roll from the 70s. Bob Seger, Boston, Foghat. That kind of stuff. Foreigner. Foreigner's another one. That early Foreigner is really good. I do that at car shows. Things like Dirty White Boy, Hot Blooded, Head Games. I'll throw those on. Because I think a lot of the guys who have these cars didn't necessarily buy them new. They're not necessarily people who were even alive in the 1950s. Maybe they were people who were born in the early 1960s and bought this stuff as kids, and that's what they were listening to when they were cruising these cars around. Think the movie, if you've ever seen it, the movie Dazed and Confused. Watch that movie. That movie almost kind of reminds me of the vibe that was Southern California in the 1970s for people like my brother and even my sister. It was that kind of deal. It felt like it, the cars, the music. That, for me, says muscle car. And for a lot of people at the show, it says muscle car too. But I also play Motown. I'll do 60s psychedelic stuff and rock, and I'll do early 60s stuff. I'll do Beatles, I'll do Beach Boys, I'll do surf music, I'll do everything. I look at the cars that are there, I think about when the cars were made, and I think about when people may have bought them used as kids, and I play music for all of those eras. But that's me. I did an import show yesterday. It was strictly Subaru. It was all hot-rodded Subarus. Neat stuff. I didn't really understand it, but it was cool. They had a Subaru there that did 400 horsepower, which was amazing. And it won Best of Show, People's Choice. But for that show, it was all hip-hop and new top 40 music, and they loved it. Initially, they said, no, we want you to play like techno music from Europe, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think it's going to work. I threw on a track, and it didn't work, and I stuck with contemporary hip-hop and top 40. But so just take a look at your demographic. Like I said, you can't make a load of dough at these shows, not these community shows. There are guys out there who, in fact, Ken Heath, one of our DJs who we see at Mobile Beat all the time, he's got, and I haven't seen it yet, I need to ask Ken for some pictures. He's got a panel truck, an old 1950s panel truck that he's restored, and he hauls his DJ stuff around in it. I bet Ken does car shows. Now, is Ken gonna recoup his investment for his cool old hot-rodded panel truck by doing car shows? No. There's a guy who drives around here, I think he does it out of a Chevy Nomad, a really cool like baby blue Chevy Nomad. He does the Solid Gold McDonald's show. He's not recouping his dough by driving around and DJing car shows, but he did it for the love of it. For the same reason that the guy over here restored that 1965 Chevy 2 is the same reason this DJ has built this Nomad and put musical notes on the side and cruised around and done car shows, DJed car shows. So do it if you love it. If you're into cars, do it. If you're in the community, do it. It's a great way to promote yourself. It's a great place to hand out business cards. And if you like cars, it's a hell of a lot of fun to check out all the cool cars at these shows. So that's my car show video. I hope it helps somebody. If you have questions, please write down here in the comment section. If you have answers, if you have playlists, anything at all, suggestions, write down here. Practice and enjoy.